Hi, welcome to Myers ASMR. How are you? It's so good to see you. I'm always glad to see you. Are you relaxed? Relax. Shake that stress off. Shake that mess off. Hey, as you start to walk along the path appears. Yeah, as you start to walk along the path appears. Well, look what appeared today. A fish sandwich from Wendy's. They're known for their burgers, so I'm eager to see how they did with the fishy. Let's check it out. It's a fish and cheese. It smells really good. Always like my sandwiches to be a bit neat so that stuff stays on. Well, look at that. That was about 5 and change, and it's a pretty weighty sandwich. It's really good. It tastes like the McDonald's fish sandwich. Love. I think that's why I got it, because of the name. It's number 575. When I do my own nails, the SE is the only polish that I wear because I have found that it lasts longer than almost anything else that I know of. No, they're not sponsoring me. I wish they were, but it's all on me. This is all my time. can't believe how good that was. It's time for my fall harvest tea from Trader Joe's. You know, with a splash of acai berry concentrate, I don't even need to sweeten it. I don't even need to sweeten the tea. That's great. Usually I don't sweeten my teas anyways. Well, you know what time it is? It's that time of the video when we focus on getting better and better every day in every way. I want to continue with this book because I'm intrigued by his talk about loneliness. How to develop a winning personality. Doesn't it annoy you when people assume like you're needy and lonely for their friendship or for their company or conversation or what have you? I'm like, don't assume. There's a reason why I'm sitting by myself. It's because I want to be. Anyways, so let's see where we left off. It is hardly likely that you would be reading a book like this if you were genuinely conceited. But accidents will happen. And if the next questionnaire should by some strange chance point the finger at you, you would be well advised to draw back more closely to the fine dividing line between honorable self-esteem and obnoxious conceit. Ooh, this is fun. This quiz is, are you conceited? If you score over 65 points, counting 5 for each yes answer, you are too madly in love with yourself. If you gather between 45 and 60 points, you are still your own sweetheart. If your score is under 45, you could become likable with very little extra effort. 1. Are you habitually critical and fault-finding? 2. Do you refuse to take anybody's advice? 3. Do you stick dogmatically to your arguments in the face of all disproof? 4. When you travel about with others, do you always expect the entire group to do what you want to do? 5. Does it upset you when someone forgets your name? 6. Do you spend more than the average amount of time on your personal appearance? Do you look into the mirror frequently? 7. Do you interrupt others when they speak? 8. When someone tells a joke, do you only half listen while preparing to tell another story as soon as he has finished? 9. Do many people bore you? 10. Do you sign your name with numerous flourishes? 11. Do you refuse to ask for directions when you are uncertain of your route? 12. Is your manner toward waiters and others overbearing? 13. Are you often sarcastic? 14. Are you what is known as a sore loser? 15. Do you sulk if you are not the center of attention? 16. When you make a wager, do you usually offer very high odds? 17. Do you habitually carry large sums of cash on your person? 18. Do you hog the road or the conversation? 19. Do you like to sit in box seats? 20. Are you ever ashamed of your parents or other relatives? Beyond the basic weakness of lack of self-esteem, or of course too much self-esteem, there are secondary habits and attitudes which can stand in the way of establishing friendship or even acquaintanceship with others and thus contribute to loneliness. I do not speak of trite and often mentioned deficiencies such as rudeness, ignorance, sloppiness, bigotry, crudity, dishonesty, etc., which repel rather than attract. We can hardly be expected to sympathize with those who are lonely because of such unworthy traits, for such traits are usually within the realm of the conscious and therefore usually inexcusable. I refer rather to what I consider to be innocent, unconscious shortcomings which lead to the same punishing loneliness. These are rarely discussed and even more rarely known or understood by those affected by them. If any of them apply to you, the fact may easily be brought out through the questionnaires that follow. As we have indicated, there can be nothing strictly scientific about such questionnaires, and so we shall eliminate the scoring systems. You will be able to get an adequate picture of your own personality as related to the specific problems discussed merely by applying the measurement of common sense to your answers. Do you put people on the spot? Quite innocently, you may be guilty of consistently embarrassing people by putting them, so to speak, on the spot. You may do this in ways that seem perfectly harmless to you, and indeed, if you don't do it often, they are fairly harmless. It is the habit of making people repeatedly uncomfortable that eventually leads them to try to avoid your company. I know one girl, for instance, who wouldn't for the world intentionally embarrass anyone. However, she thinks nothing at all of saying, "May I borrow your comb? I've forgotten my own." Many people don't like the idea of having others use their combs. They may hand their combs over without saying anything, even if they are impelled to throw them away later, but you may be certain the experience will not induce them to seek out the company of the borrowers in the future. The point is that you've got to be sure of your ground before you can permit yourself to be utterly spontaneous. I really don't like shaking people's hands, and I have a hard time declining when someone sticks their hand out, especially if it's someone that I'm going to be having dealings with for a while, such as someone I work with and I'm just meeting them for the first time. Usually I'll just go ahead and shake their hand because we're going to have to develop good relations. But let me know, how do you decline handshakes? I find them useless. There's absolutely no reason for strangers to be touching hands. I don't like to do it. So, how do you decline doing this without looking like a total jerk? Because usually it's in front of a bunch of people, and everybody's standing around watching and smiling, and they're looking at you, and you're expected to make social niceties. So, do you think I'm making too much of shaking hands? Should I just go ahead and just freaking do it? What do you think? If you have a modicum of horse sense, you know very well where and in what company you can be your own full, free self, and where you cannot. It might be perfectly permissible for you to ask an intimate friend to lend you a comb, and it might be completely out of order to make the same request of a mere acquaintance. With this understanding, we may proceed to the questions. When visiting, do you stay very late? Do you ask casual acquaintances to vouch for your credit or to send letters of references in your behalf? Do you ask people to recommend doctors to you? Doctors are sworn to a secret relationship with their patients, but some folks fear that their secrets may inadvertently be released to others. Do you try to wheedle out secrets? Do you drop in on people without advance notice? When you have a coughing, sneezing cold, do you continue to mingle with the people you know? Do you quarrel with husband, wife, or sweetheart in the presence of others? Do you ask acquaintances to lend you money? Do you make it a habit to ask people how you look? Do you have to be reminded about money or other things you have borrowed? When you entertain, Do you place unusual foods before your guests without ascertaining beforehand whether they like such foods? Do you ask neighbors to mind children or to take care of pets when you go on vacation? Do you show special occasion gifts to people who have not given you gifts? Do you buy expensive gifts for people who cannot buy such gifts for you? On outings, do you suggest entertainment that some members of the party may not be easily able to afford? Do you try to play Cupid to unwilling subjects? Do you ask people to guess how old you are? Do you ask people on the telephone to guess who you are? Do you ask neighbors to accept department store or other deliveries while you are absent without regard to their own plans? Do you ever, when you are invited to visit, bring uninvited guests with you? When you plan to ask someone to go out with you, do you start by saying, "What are you doing Saturday night?" If he says he is free, he may then feel obliged to accept an invitation to do something he would rather not do. The considerate thing to do is to invite the person without that question and permit him to accept or to beg off without feeling put on the spot. Ooh, these are good. Don't you just love these self-help questions? It's really to help you get to know yourself better. So much fun. I was a psychology major in college. And anyways, that's another story. I suppose it did help me, but I didn't pursue the field beyond the BA degree. Chalk it up to youth and not knowing a thing about what I wanted to do. But anyways, hey, remember that as you walk on the way appears. As you walk on the way appears. If you like what I'm doing here, like and subscribe, donate to the cause. Catch me in the next video, and may you find laughter